Going Guts as well, and I'll keep on saying it. This man does play Huskar, so if you walk your Ember Spirit in here, and of course Ember really only goes to one lane, could see some problems on the horizon, but I think that's also where they're just looking for another playmaker, looking for somebody to make moves if this is going to be what I think should just be a Death Prophet pick now because your mid laner is not helping with the tower push either. This isn't a Leshrac. You need to get this game kind of going here. I do like it's maybe a little bit of pseudo lockdown for the Pango with those roots, but of course, once the Lotus Orbs, once the Curl Up comes out, then, you still get the Rolling Thunder off, which is still a pretty big problem that Felt haven't exactly addressed here with this pick. And spending a lot of time. This is also an opportunity where, unfortunately, I guess maybe they didn't want to go for Puck because Lion is in the game, and that is a little bit of a risk, but I am sad now seeing that hero go by the wayside.
Well, I do want to ask you a bit of a question here while Felt continue to have a little bit of a think about this. Talked about the Pango Lion lane being a little meh, and it is, but if you're no runes, what offlaner do you want to put with Lion if you're looking to actually maximize the potential you have in this lane?
Probably Mars. That's probably the immediate one that I can think of just because it's funny because typically, of course, Mars isn't known for having the best lockdown, especially not versus spirits, but if you can lead in with a hex, then into a spear, then you have a little bit more damage to play around with, which would probably feel a little bit nicer. But Felt, instead, they keep it boring. They pick the Death Prophet exactly as they should. It would have been a huge weakness if they didn't go for that pick. And now, NoRunes, what is the answer here?
Whoa.
They pick Shadow Fiend. Well, that's not Huskar, but that is a mid lane now where Felt are going to feel a little bit of pressure. Where do we just send the Death Prophet mid versus the SF, or do we throw Solji to the Wolves? Because that is not a lane and something that, of course, they could have done this the entire draft, and this will be now an offlane Pango, but I don't know. This is the counter pick. This is what second pick does for a team, and they got it.
Hmm. And yeah, as you say, if you're Felt, sure, you could send the Death Prophet mid, but then what exactly are you doing with December, right? Running him at the 3 or the 1 is still just unbelievably awkward, so just kind of gets into a weird spot if you're maybe looking to get really crazy, ET. DP to 2, Marcy to 3, run the Ember 4. I know we're not exactly, looking at Matthew on Thunder Awaken here, but I feel like that might work better out than trying to run Ember in some sort of non-mid position as a core.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be squeezed into, and funny to see the Magnus ban. It's kind of a cool pick, something that Mini did actually play previously in the tournament, and perhaps saying that, well, you've got Shadow Fiend mid. One of your weaknesses now is that you don't have that much lockdown, so an AoE spell would do you some good here. But that's where Felts are in the same boat. It's why the Faceless Void ban I think feels so nice, where they need their playmaker to kind of come through here.
Hmm.
Timbersaw is not that hero though, and I do wonder because typically when we've seen the Timbersaws come out, it's almost immediately come through with a Nature's Prophet pickup from the other team. But I don't think you want to play NP here if you are on no runes, even though maybe you do have kind of the sick play where you get level 20 and then you sprout leash over the Pango. But other than that, I don't know if Feld are gonna want to go for it. But that's again maybe a forcing move with the ban, but we'll have to see. Because, yeah, I guess that would put the Shadow Fiend then as the carry if it is the Timbersaw, but I don't
Hmm.
know. That one's a little bit weird.
And I mean, I guess SF at the 1 is not, it's not normal, but it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. It just kind of feels a little bit funky. However, I do want to point out, just for no runes, technically speaking, you have two mid laners, right? Both Guts and Mini played the 2. Mini only plays the 1 because Guts is on this team. So if ever there was a time to put the Shadow Fiend in a carry position, this would be it. But
Hmm.
still highly doubtful that that's the play they're going to make. In the meantime, Felt will bust out the PLET. Have not gotten to see that hero quite some time. It's been banned out sporadically, but as a pick, it was kind of missing.
Yeah, and now if we're no runes, well, we've got one pretty big choice here. If we want to, again, do the lane shenanigans, we put the Shadow Fiend at the carry, we put the Pango either probably to the off lane, but then we just pick Leshrac here. And then we
Mhm.
just run the PL down in every single lane and then kill the buildings. It's whether or not you feel comfortable with the Shadow Fiend in a carry position versus the PL is the real question here. We'll see it.
There it is.
There you go. Done. Easy.
Not a fun time now for Felt. They thought maybe they had pulled one over their opponents with the PL pick, and now... Well, I will say one thing. You don't have the mid matchup that you were maybe worried about before, because the Leshrac is going to run that, but I don't know. Is Solji any more happy with the Lesh in his lane as opposed to... Oh, ooh. Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah. They swap it up even further. And I don't know if I necessarily like this choice because I feel like Lesh versus Ember is more Leshrac favored than perhaps the Pango, but maybe that's where Guts wants to play Pango, feels a little bit more comfortable with it, and also maybe saying that Heiko is going to be a lot less pressured by the silencer on that Leshrac. If he is just a little ranged hero, you're not going to eat nearly as much damage. Pango's also a hero where you just need to cast your spells, so kind of plays against the style that Silencer forces you into, where Leshrac can kind of afford to wait. So I think all in an effort to make the lanes a little bit better, but that certainly puts a lot less pressure off of the Ember Spirit now. So something going for Felt just a little bit. Even if it's a little bit, it's still something.
Yeah, and at this point, you got to take even the slightest possible advantage that you can, because they still are struggling to get points on the board. So if this helps in any way, you'll take it. But at this point for Felt, they need time for the PL, right? That's got to be the long and the short of their lineup. You aren't really going to be able to do anything. Well, you can do some minor plays with what you've got, but in terms of actually taking control and winning the game, Paradise has to be involved, so you need to keep them safe.
No, definitely. And we'll have to see now because loading in, no smoke. Oh, there's the smoke from Felt, trying to get their wards down. But I'm also very excited to see how this silencer actually pans out here. And I do wonder what the timing on a lot of these globals is going to be because, well, now, if you can't exactly cancel out the Rolling Thunder, you have to be entirely preemptive to make sure you cast it early enough in a fight to make sure the Pango doesn't get his Rolling Thunder off. Or do you save it to stop Mini from ever getting a Requiem of Souls through? It's a tough question to answer, but we'll have to see. And we'll have to see if this Leshrac is really going to put as much pain onto the PL as we all kind of know it will, but it's always a matter of whether or not it pans out for you and whether or not Paradise goes for the Midas build on PL or if we do see him forced into that more reactive style. Right now he doesn't have it queued up, but anything can change once that lane starts.
Went for the wraparound play here. They're picking out the the ward location there, so they might suspect that something's up. This ward, however, as you look at its vision, is blocked by the trees, so Silencer gets a little too close. He is in trouble, but he shouldn't get that close. Well, okay, they come to him, and that's not really going to work.
Yeah. No, we're in that gridlock situation, and Sarem is a big old bully here. Clicking ward, though, and oh, you're going to eat a little bit of damage, and yeah, there's the Doppel away, even though, nice juke.
Well, he is going to beat the hell out of that illusion. That's... Well, actually, he's not, but the Lion did take one down. 5 whole gold into his pocket. But does this last long term here? Sarem, he's just going to start hacking away, but with Heiko coming in, yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. They need to guess the right one, but it's not that hard. You're going to get vision down onto the PL, and there's your first blood.
Yep. Pretty nice. Couldn't walk to the tower. Could have TP'd, but...
blood, maybe?
Oh, the body blocks. Oh, he didn't want to use that many tangos, but in doing so, Heiko double kill. Oof. 600 gold in the bank. Well, that's one way to start your lane.
Oh, and look at this. Sarem is the one to stay top, whereas it's the Lion that will TP down bot, so... Well...
Also, despite who walked in on these lanes, look at where the heroes are. It is still... It's Mini on the SF playing versus the Ember Spirit, and Guts just takes the Pango safe lane. Okay.
Huh.
You know, we didn't think that they would make that swap up just because of the players who ended up using these heroes, but, well, you don't see Guts in the safe lane ever. So this is kind of caught Felt off guard because all of those lane counters we were hyping up in the draft just work now.
Still get the matchups that they wanted. This is not something Felt expected, and I mean, yeah, why should you, right? Mini has been the one who has made the sacrifice and shifted position throughout the entirety of their matches so far, and then all of a sudden Guts just says, "No, I'll take it." As Heiko, there's another 3 straight kills. This goat is very angry, and Felt don't seem to have an answer so far. As bottom lane, there might be some trouble there too. Fade dangerously low, but he's able to fall back with help from the Warden. But this is not the way that they thought these lanes would play out. Ooh.
Oh, got the salve.
Not a fun time, and well, not quite as bad as the tri-lane that we saw earlier today, ET, that just completely destroyed, but this is not going to be beneficial in the slightest.
No, I think NoRunes really know what they're doing here. It's a good look. Seeing some team play exceptionally well is always a little bit more fun than kind of that wishy-washy middle ground where everybody's kind of making the right decision. But no, this is absolutely killer.
Yeah. Solid play is solid and appreciated, but mistakes and outplays are a little more interesting. Speaking of, might be a bit of an outplay here. Sarem's in some trouble. Last word on to him. Will it be enough to kill? Not quite. He actually has a full wand with 7 charges on it, so... Well, Sarem really not in that much trouble at all, anticipating that the silencer was kind of going to spam out a little bit here, and he's ready for it.
Yeah, and good last hitting. And actually, that large camp pull, I think, initially would have benefited Sarem, but Paradise just ends up farming it pretty safely, so not the most pressure on the PL, but that's where this is just a lane where everything changes. Once Heiko gets level 6, Paradise can no longer lane, and unfortunately, that's the case for a lot of these heroes, and especially mid lane where Solji, well, this is your life. Sorry, brother. This is not fun. You can't fight for denies in the slightest. You're always at a level deficit. Mini is just going to keep that bully train going, and all you can do is fight for last hits, which already aren't even working out for him.
Meanwhile, Hana is on the run here in the bottom lane. I think he's going to go down. He'll try and just die to the tower. Best case scenario there, he really wasn't getting out. But on the other side, it's another kill onto the silencer. It doesn't go to Heiko this time, though, as Sarem is finally able to nab one for himself. But support trade-off across the map, and well, ET, you were talking about Paradise not being able to lane in this top lane, or once NoRunes get the levels. He can't lane here right now. Last hit count is at 6, so he is really not getting much out of this lane, and with the silencer a little bit far away, they're trying to hit up on him again. Although at this point now they might just go into the silencer. He's going to get stunned up, dropped low. Heiko... No, Sarem gets it again, but at this point, it doesn't really matter who gets these kills. They are bullying the hell out of this Phantom Lancer. Does Heiko have mana? Not really, but they are still just chasing him around. There's a little bit of good news, though. Over in the middle lane, the Warden TPs, or not even TPs, just walks into the middle lane, and Mini will get taken down. The problem is, now that they know the Warden's not here, they push Fade away from the farm. And then back up top, Jesus. They're still going onto Paradise. Calm it down for like 30 seconds, boys, but they are going to track him down. Oh, man, he's dancing for so long, ET, but it just doesn't matter.
No, and they even miss a full creep wave that just dies to their tower because they want to keep the pressure on, and he's desperately trying to get last hits as he's running around, getting just run at. It's just kind of a clown show, but hey, it works out for him, and that's where, yeah, the more important play is made. You do have the Marcy coming mid, getting the kill onto Mini, which is absolutely huge. And you have to go for those plays, but we'll have to see if they can keep it coming as Guts. Ooh, just got the Death Prophet, just barely. And has spells in a second here, so probably able to walk this one out too.
He's able to fall back to the tower, 1-for-1 trade, but it's core for support there in NoRunes' favor. And look at Sarem. Up around towards mid. There's a circle being drawn there by the silencer, though, so they absolutely saw this coming. And it looks like Solji's just going to play in the river, gets himself a regen rune, should not be in much danger here, although Sarem is still kind of trying to track on him, and there's no level 6 on the Ember just yet, so he does have to be kind of careful, and here come the TPs. The Warden's going to get the dispos off. Mini trying to channel out the Requiem, but he's going to get stunned by the rebound, so he doesn't get it off initially. He will go for it now, but he still doesn't get it. That's a Death Requiem, not the original. That's twice that they've been able to punish Mini. This time he had help.
Yeah, no, just I think a little bit too confident there. doesn't have a raindrop either because he knows that a lot of that damage is coming through the slight, but in doing so, yeah, you die. Solji has 2 kills now. He's going to be able to make up a little bit of net worth, and more importantly, he's level 6. So even if you are getting Shadow Raze spam, you're fine. And Hannes is poised for a play here, and
I
will
try
be
it.
able to eat a little bit of damage, and will triple raise. Need a few right clicks, but that's your revenge.
Very nicely set up. Mini realizing he had the time for it, and maybe if he tries for the right clicks, he gets it anyway, but Requiem just seemed maybe a little bit more surefire for him there. It does put it on cooldown, but that's the kill that you wanted. Mini right back up to the top here net worth-wise as all 3 of the cores on NoRunes. Sitting there quite comfortably as Silencer not very comfortable there. Another pick in this top lane. Sarem grabbed it again, so he's sitting on a bit of a spree here. 3-0-4 for a Treant Protector. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah. Now, he's been having a few of these kills here and there, but
Paradise.
he's
Very
level
carefully.
6 on Heiko, so they want to do the dive as,
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, that Silencer is not getting a whole lot of gameplay here. Just keeps on getting punished. Srem keeps on scouting him out early, and now that Heiko is level 6, well, Paradise is on borrowed time here for how much longer he can lane.
Silencer just unfortunate. Existence is pain for the Silencer. Just no game for him. And now Paradise, yeah, you can't be here anymore. It is time to try and back away. TPs are coming in to help him just make his escape. And, well, Heiko used a lot of mana. Yeah, here comes the punish. Okay. Very nicely done there to find that kill. They bring his dominating streak to an end. Problem is, it comes at a cost. Elsewhere on the map, Fade gets picked off. Guts and Hane just right in onto him. But honestly, you needed that Leshrac kill. Paradise probably still doesn't want to be in this lane moving forward, but at least you bring that streak to an end, and you get some money.
Yeah, and you get Paradise just barely his level 6, so if he does have to jungle, it isn't the worst possible case scenario, but that's also where switch up the build. He's got the Midas back queued up. Yeah, he kind of knows what type of game this is going to end up being. And the main problem is really not that he can't lane versus the Leshrac, it's that if you do bring those heroes up here eventually, Guts is going to want to rotate as well, as Hannes does get punished on that bounty rune, and that is going to be the issue. Once you can bring the Pango towards top, that is going to be a super easy play as Fade, though, rotated in, looking for another kill onto Heiko, but there's the Pango, and this is where they might be in over their heads here, and you don't want to lose your cores.
This fight's starting to break up as well, but Solji's going to push in. That does allow them to get the kill onto Heiko, and Guts, I don't think you want to be here anymore. He's going to back off. Solji gets 2 kills. This TP is very risky from Hane. He's just going to go for it anyway, but now Mini comes in. Requiem channel, point-blank range. And Fade just gets the full brunt of that Requiem. Of course, if you're Felt, I don't think you care. 2 kills for 1. Fade going down is unfortunate, but you get the trade. You save your tower. It's looking okay, at least for now.
Oh, you save your tower, get Solji some more gold. He's now neck and neck with the Shadow Fiend. He has made a 100% recovery here, just making smart rotations and keeping his nose clean. Hasn't gotten picked off at all. It feels like this has been Solji really just making the plays that he needs to in a very desperate game, but killing Heiko twice, it's huge, and now Paradise again can just rotate back into the jungle, have even more security. They do use the Exorcism, which is mildly unfortunate, to go for a team fight as opposed to just pushing down this tier 1. A little bit less team gold for sure, but hey, you got something. Also, watching Mini, taking a look at these Ancients, he smoked himself up so it doesn't aggro, and he's just killing a 4 stack of Ancients, keeping the Shadow Ray stacks.
Okay. That's a little ridiculous, but he is getting through it.
It's like what you would do with Darkseer, like 10 years ago, where you would just infinitely stack with Vacuum, and then you would just stand next to it with Smoke. I mean, sure. The abuse, it works still.
Gets the job done. It looks goofy as hell, but it's going to get him his money, and that's really all Mini cares about at the moment. Meanwhile, for Felt, they're eyeballing this tier 1 tower down bot. No Exo for 30, though, means it is going to be slow going, but if nobody TPs in, I mean, they're going to get it eventually. Sidekick coming into play as well for the little bit of extra attack speed there, or damage rather, excuse me. It's only a level 1 sidekick though, so really they can't get it. Sarem's going to come in, but it's got to be more than Sarem. He's got overgrowth, but someone needs to be here to actually do any damage. Nobody arrives, and there just isn't really a defense.
No, and we're keeping the card alive. Strem is being very annoying and does have to be careful of the Warden, and the Warden will not get the right grouping of trees, so Strem should be fine, but also just good levels that you're able to pick up on the tree, and maybe a little bit of farm, but you get to walk away there. Runes come up. Hannes, does he get punished here? Kind of, and we'll go for the TP out. Very smart TP.
Yeah, last word, can't do enough damage in the well, so he is going to be just fine. It is unfortunate that he had to take the Arcane, but they were going to lose it to the Felt side if he doesn't, so maybe he gets in there for a Finger of Death on a short cooldown. That would be something, as bottom lane. Oh, the Warden's just going to get taken down pretty easily here. Sarem and Guts push in, Overgrowth used, and they do find that pickoff, and that gives Guts a little bit of space here. He's going to push this wave out, find some more farm for himself, I believe. Yeah, did he just finish off? Yes, he did. Maelstrom's going to be completed on the Pango.
Yep. And of course, you know, even more anti-PL tech. Just going to make this game even more difficult for Paradise. But Paradise has gone his Midas. Got a little bit of time now. Borrowed time again. He still has to make, or rather let his teammates make a good few plays to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind here. But that's also where Maelstrom is not a blink dagger for the Pango. So when it comes to the initiation, NoRunes are still going to struggle maybe a little bit here. It's where I think Guts should definitely turn his build around, just making sure that he can actually get these team fights started, because without that, they might struggle to find their next play here. Because Heiko, he wants to get aggressive, he wants to use that Edict on the mid tower, but unless you are wholeheartedly confident in crossing that river, that could be another set of kills, another set of feeds that could end up with your lineup falling behind. And they're looking for Heiko again up here. He's got a hood though, he's pretty tanky, and he will react.
Well, the hood was activated, but it's really not doing him as much good as they thought it would. He just gets blown up immediately, and Sarem, I don't really know about that one. Didn't have the overgrowth, wasn't really going to be able to help his teammate, just kind of gets caught out there as well, and second kill, going over to the Felt side, and now you really do start to worry. As Solji is going to try to contest for the rune, he's going to get hit up, there's the Finger of Death, but the Global Silence comes through. Can they turn this around? No, they're just going to really try and back it off. Mini? Trying to hold his fire. Now. Yeah, that's a problem. TP coming in, though. The Leshrek's going to arrive. They're going to turn this around. Solji just is straight dead. That one seemed a little bit predictable. Solji just, I don't know, gets a little greedy. Tries to go after the kill, and he's going to get punished.
And now, unfortunately, after all those picks, it does just lead into the tier 1 dying, which, of course, now opens up your triangle to this invasion, and Paradise is going to start running out of places to farm here as long as NoRunes keep up the pressure. And, of course, once the Ember is alive, then maybe you'll have Solji to kind of make this team fight happen. And, yeah, looking bottom. But, guys, we don't have Global. We've got Exorcism, but they're putting a lot of eggs in this basket here, and there's the Rolling Thunder. They want it. He's trying to be patient, but this is now becoming impossible to fight. They're going to see the Leshrak as well.
Just beating up on Solji in the corner, but they weren't able to keep him locked down all the way, so he might still make it out of here, as he does jump away to the Remnant. Sarem, meanwhile, now trapped. He's going to get finished off, and it's starting to get really bad for NoRunes. Guts will not make it out. Fade takes him down. Looks like Hane is going to be able to get away. Heiko makes it out too, but, well, Felt pull one out. That's a pretty solid fight for them, and getting real concerned now for NoRunes. They're just not able to take advantage of the lineup, their own lineup, the way that they wanted. They still have the lead, but if fights keep going this way, ET, that lead is going to start dwindling pretty fast.
No, yeah, it's very problematic because, of course, you don't have Exo now, but you've gotten what you wanted, and oh, heck, Solji doesn't want to go down, but there's going to be a chain stun. They're casting a lot of spells with Arcane Curse, though, and yeah, you're getting turned on. Silencer is too strong. Look at him. He's only level 8, and we'll probably still go down here, but oh no, everybody walks away. Oh, into the Edict. Well, unfortunate.
Yeah, he did the job that he was needed for, right? They find the kills. 2-for-1 trade for Felt. As you say, the Silencer's really punishing. This is a maxed out curse too, so the further in that they go on the NoRunes side, the more and more damage they're dealing to themselves, and they've got to really, I think, take a step back here, ET, try and reevaluate, group up for something, because these piecemeal plays they're trying to make are starting to backfire.
Oh, they definitely are. It's where a full 5-on fight probably feels good. And again, I'm looking over at Guts, who still doesn't have that Blink Dagger queued up. He's got the Yules, so of course, now doesn't have to worry necessarily about the silences, about the global, or even the searing chains. But without that, I still struggle to see how they get that engagement they're looking for. In top lane, Mini, stunned, killed, know where he's going, defusal completed on the PL. I think they're just messing around too much with this lead that they've got.
Yep, they felt secure, and well, maybe they shouldn't have. Or maybe they should have been a little bit more careful. I don't know. It's still a 2k lead, but the kill count is starting to even up, and well, this might be another death mid, Hane. Curse is on him. Might just be enough by itself. Yeah, it will be. Silencer gets another bit of int taken away, up to plus 18 now for him on the steal, and I don't really know. If you're NoRunes at this point, they just seem so uncoordinated, I guess is the right phrase at this stage.
Yeah, just feels like they keep on making these plays happen where they don't really have that much business. And of course, once BKB's up on that Shadow Fiend, maybe you get a little bit more confident, but they're just, again, kind of dying to the Warden. Just pretty much 100-0 there. And now Global's back up, so could just Global them out of here, but I guess maybe just save it, say Warden. Yeah, that's 3 cores, sure. A death that maybe you don't mind giving up, but given a lot of time to Paradise, this PL, again, is also pretty much recovered. I don't know, I'm starting to get concerned here for NoRunes, giving away a lot of that advantage already.
Just letting it slip through their fingers a little bit here, but they gotta try and do something. This is looking a lot like what we were talking about in the previous game, right? Fade on the Axe, didn't really get the chance to make the plays that he wanted. Heiko's in the same position. The plays are different, and he's looking for the push in the fight rather than the sort of single initiation, but when was the last time we saw Heiko even remotely close to one of these towers? They took all the tier 1s, and then the pushes just stopped.
Yep, they haven't been able to make any real follow-up plays. Of course, Heiko's fairly farmed, but this is also where you'd want BKB on the last track, but your SF also needs BKB. It's that stepping on each other's toes that the jungle, it simply isn't big enough for everyone, and someone's going to start to fall behind. As Guts, he can still be a little bit of a maniac. He can farm in dangerous areas. He's just going to Rolling Thunder away. He's got the Yules as well for his own game. And he's got an Axe queued up, which is pretty nice. It's even more, again, anti-PL tech. It's going to be very obvious which one is the real Paradise whenever these team fights do break down. But I don't know. I still don't really like what's going on anymore for NoRunes. Not to mention, as well, I think they're going to struggle a little bit to get onto that next objective, namely being Roche. Feels like this is that timing where you'd want to force the issue, but I don't know if that's really in the cards here. Even though they do see the Silencer. Silencer has an Atos? Okay.
Yeah. That's a bit of an interesting one. He's kind of gone all out for this. He's got boots, he's got Atos, and that's kind of it, but well, would make a bit of a difference having that little bit of extra lockdown, right? Felt's lineup are a little light on that lockdown, and it takes some of the burden away from the Warden, who has been playing spectacularly, right? We've been sort of calling his number all game long, but you always want to have more than one hero who can initiate for you. As speaking of initiation, Hane, he's going to blink in. There's going to be the Hex, but Global Silence shuts it down. The Warden now comes in with the rebound, stunning up the Shadow Fiend. And I don't know if NoRunes want this fight anymore. Hane's already been taken down. Heiko's on the run. He's going to get rooted up, taken down. Guts is spinning his way through with the Rolling Thunder, but he's not going to be able to finish off any kills. This is just turning into a disaster. Mini has to go for the Requiem defensively, but he is still very low on HP. Those Exorcism Spirits are just doing the work. Oh boy, no runes. No runes, no runes, no runes. Confidence is gone. Just completely shattered at this point. They have lost the lead in its entirety and felt her into the Roche pit.
Yeah, and it ain't fast, and it's without your Exorcism, but it'll work. they'll have to fight for it, but I think NoRunes, they had such a good thing going on for so long, but then everything just starts to fall apart. I think it's slightly the item choices, it's slightly the way that they haven't really been able to punish the Ember Spirit at all, and Soldier just playing, again, incredibly solidly on this Ember Spirit. And now, are you going to be confident going into late game? And it's 22 minutes, but even just early late game versus PL when all you have is a Shadow Fiend to go up against him? I don't know. I feel like that's why they ended up going for this hero, where once you have items like even just the Scotty on Paradise, that matchup is ruined. It's blown wide open. Same thing for the Leshrac. It's where you do eventually start to run out of damage, and then, well, you lose. You either kill the PL or you simply don't, and then you have all these other aspects that are just panning out for Felt right now. As with this Aegis, it will just be a farming Aegis most likely, but with that being said, the map is paused where NoRunes are stuck farming. It's not like they can make a play. They can maybe try to smoke with Lion, but without too many stacks, without him get going either, just feels like there's not that much agency with NoRunes right now.
Number of plays that they can make seem extremely limited, and well, the times that they have attempted to make plays over the last couple of minutes, ET have kind of just blown up in their own faces. So, do we have an opening? And then is that opening actually an opening, or are we walking face first into a trap? Those are not the kinds of thoughts that you want to have or thought you would based on the start NoRunes had to this game, but it has just been such a massive shift in that momentum to the point where you see Felt, they're going to try and make a play themselves. Exo's up in 5, so team fight into tower push, looking pretty solid. Of course, I don't think there's any team fight coming their way here as they're operating in the south side and there's not a single NoRunes hero on that half of the map, but well, that means that the push can really get going here, and here comes Paradise with the creep wave. We're going to try and get some damage onto this tier 2 bot.
Yeah, and, well, here we go. Push in. Of course, they'll have the Exorcism, going to save it most likely for the high ground here, but that's where NoRunes, even though they've been failing at a lot of these team fights, they are no slouch in the tower push either. They've got Leshrac, they've got probably, yeah, Presence Aura affects buildings, so they do push quite quickly, so they at least get to force a slightly advantageous trade here, and that's his back in the base. With the Aghanim Scepter, he can stall the push out pretty much indefinitely, and here we go, in.
Go with the Rolling Thunder. The Global Silence does come out. It's a little bit awkwardly timed, though, because, yeah, the Warden's still stuck in, and he is going to get taken down. Oh, there's the root, though, on the Guts. He's going to be forced to use his Fuel Scepter defensively. Meanwhile, the Marcy's going to buy back, and they're going to reinitiate. Solji pushing forward, wants to make use of that Aegis. Going to be able to create a little bit of a buffer. As Heiko goes down, Sarem falling too. Guts now out here all by himself. Where's the backup? There isn't any. He's going to get silenced. He's going to get taken down. And it's all falling apart for NoRunes. They just desperately have to fall back. Sarem, though, is going to try and buy back into this, but Mini needs reinforcements now. They need to be able to get up to him, and they just can't reach him. More buybacks coming in. ET, Guts, and Heiko are back in too, but okay, there's a kill, but what else can they really get? Because it feels like they need more to justify these buybacks. They did just catch out Solji. Maybe he didn't see the Lion. I don't know, but that was a little bit rough for him, and now Belter finally getting pushed back. Fade. Can he just get a TP right now? Yes, he can. Huh. Okay. Fade TP's away. Paradise sends the illusions in. That's going to be enough to take down the Lion, and ET, this fight, I feel like it should be over, but technically it may not be. They're still kind of hanging around close to each other.
You know, and of course with the outpost, they can keep the pressure on as Paradise. Gotta be careful here, but without overgrowth, he is able to just seamlessly walk away. Has that high ground ward, though, so Paradise himself is looking to get active. Does have to be careful, though, but yeah, still, very expensive defense. Still a situation in which Felt are 100% the leaders here. Of course, didn't even have Exo for the majority of that reinitiation, but still, big problems, and thankfully, Guts, he's got the Blink Dagger queued up. He might be able to orchestrate a team fight where somebody gets a BKB off too late, and you might actually see that chain stun within him and the Shadow Fiend. Would also love to see Mini pick up a Blink Dagger as well, just so we get any little combo play, and then I think their team fight can look a whole lot better, but until then, they are still all in pretty much on the Lion, as they do get pinged out, but Stealth have been a little bit slow here to reestablish themselves onto the map. It really has just been the Phantom Lancer farming. Hanez, does look like he's gonna go down here, though. This looks, yeah, like a sad death.
Just gotta stand there and accept what's coming his way. As Solji picked up the kill. Where is their creep wave? It's lagging a little bit behind here in the middle lane, so this push may be delayed. They are trying to sort of set up for it. Fade's got Exorcism back. I don't think they would really want to use it here. Much prefer to maybe hold it for a high ground push. Not a Roche attempt, though, ET. Still quite a ways away from that, so... Belt will push. We'll see if NoRunes do anything, because honestly, you take a look at where their cores are right now. Well, cores plus Surem, I suppose, but they're farming, they're split pushing, they're buying time. I think that's really just got to be the best case scenario for them at the moment.
No, they get to walk out, and you look at bottom. Ooh, Surem is gonna... Oh, barely doesn't see him. He's stuck on the tree. They got vision with Fade for a second, but... Okay. Split push plays working. Time is being bought. Time, of course, that is also allowing Paradise to finish up a heart, which is, again, very problematic, because of course you're always playing it against the damage numbers here. With Leshrac, you just simply can't get any more. You have the level 20 talent, but then after that, it's it. But with the way that things have stabilized and slowed down, it's hard to really tell who's pulling slightly ahead here. Because really, I think Felt are still in a fantastic spot. There's a full Daedalus now finished up on Mini, which is pretty terrifying, but I feel like this is one of those simple cases where both teams are now a little bit scared to make too many moves here with Roche coming up. Still a minute and 20 seconds out, though, so it's still just the real estate game. NoRunes are just barely getting more, though, because they're keeping a hero up in that top lane to just farm, but in doing so, it's where that gold lead keeps on teetering on 2 to 3k.
Yeah, Belt still have the advantage, but they're not exactly growing it at the moment, but... No, I'm not really sure that there's much Felt can do right now other than what they're already doing, because NoRunes are not going to present them with any sort of blatant easy target, so they just keep pushing things out. They're going to jump on Surem here, so... Well, can he actually get the kill? Surem's going to pop the Overgrowth. He's just looking for a TP spot, and the Warden can't really rebound on anything now, so... Treant is fine. A little bit more time bought, and it's just stuff like this, right? Felt can't get a firm grasp on any target to actually gank.
No, they miss, they whiff, and now big items are coming out. Just finished up the BKB. It's what the Leshrac was so diligently farming in the top lane, and as we keep on going in this game, NoRunes are getting an opportunity to get more and more battle ready. And Guts, you know, gnawing at me. It actually just decides to buy a full Satanic instead of going for the Blink Dagger, which I don't know, we'll see. But I guess in terms of just mode-based defense, having just basic dispels, the Satanic will surely help him a little bit more there. But let's see with the Roche timer, 2 minutes, okay, middle of the pack. But again, this seemingly favors NoRunes a little bit more, just gives them more time where Felt are the ones that are afraid to use this Exo. Felt are the ones that need to push onto the high ground if they want to get a play before Roche is on the table. And instead, they're biding their time, which, again, will benefit Paradise. But the rest of the lineup is starting to really slow down.
Gotta wonder. Does someone just try to make a move? You know, break the silence, break the stalemate? There is that Heart of Tarrasque picked up, however, so... Yeah, the PL, as you say, very much getting bigger, but... Just kind of a strange set of circumstances. The hesitation, both sides now wary of... Oh, God. Wary of sort of blowing this lead as the PL is going to get jumped in on. There's the global, though. They're going to try to reset this, but that forces out BKBs, and Paradise is dead. Well, that heart did not do him as much good as he thought it would. Now the Overgrowth comes in. BKBs coming out from Fade and Solji. They're going to try and regroup with the rest of the team around this outpost, and they are pushing their way in. Fade... Well, he's not really doing that much damage, actually, and now he's completely isolated. All of his teammates dead around him. And, well, Felt do, in fact, break the stalemate, just not in the way that I think they intended, as they just walk face first into that, and hell, the PL's tanky, but he's not that tanky. There's limits to his durability.
Yeah, no, and unfortunately, Paradise more or less baits them into a terrible position where he just goes down for nothing, just didn't think he could die with the threat of the global silence behind it, but just Mini with the Daedalus doing a little bit too much damage, and now Living Ward, Lyco's chilling. He's gonna wait there for another 20 seconds probably just to see the Roche respawn timer, and as soon as it's up, it's gonna be a mad dash for Felt to try and contest this, but no Exo. You got everything forced out of you. If you just walk into the pit right now, I think this is just a free Aegis for NoRunes, and Felt, they're scratching their heads. They're wondering why they did that.
Yeah. Unfortunate for them. So separated from their Phantom Lancer, and then once a Phantom Lancer dies, they just don't back out either. It's really weird. The decision making a little bit off there. That is a shard. Please pick that up. Thank you, Mini. Appreciate you. Gonna leave that one in the pit, but now this is where things are going to be exceptionally difficult for Fel, because you have to defend high ground. Mini has an Aegis, has a bottled DD, did not keep the shard for himself. He gave it over to the Lion, who is not using it yet, but if he does, right, having the mana drain potentially just to clear through some of those illusions from Paradise, certainly going to be useful.
Yeah. No, that's a part of it, I think, as well. If somehow he can just kite out and then not have to worry about maybe the Death Prophet silence, he could just sit there and then just blink away, worst case scenario. But now NoRunes, they smoke up. Of course, they have the Aegis. They pop the DD immediately as well. They want a fast and loose initiation here, and Silencer is gonna pop, and Hannes doesn't find the angle, but he goes deep and he gets
two-man
two.
stun. Lotus Orb comes in. That's going to reflect a little bit of that lockdown, but not enough. Both the supports, both dead already. Hane dies but buys back, and this is just awful. Solji gets caught. He gets finished off. Paradise is able to fall back into the base, or maybe he isn't. Guts is going to keep on chasing him. Oh, where's his backup? Here it comes. Overgrowth coming in. He's going to dodge it with the Manta. And it looks like NoRunes are going to try for a little bit of a reset here. Well, part reset, part we actually need to kill this tier 2 tower, because then we can't actually hit anything on that high ground. So little A, little a B, but they're back onto the high ground now, and the buyback statuses for Felt are kind of there. One buyback on the Ember Spirit, one buyback on the Silencer, although, okay, Silencer's just going to use his right now. Is this enough, though? They popped the Glyph as well, so the resources are getting burned through as Paradise. Yeah. Going to get a little bit stunned up there, but he's still inside of his own base, so he should be fine. As Mini gets hit by the Atos, is there any follow-up? Yes, there is. They're going to jump in onto him, but that's only the Aegis. They're going to have to kill him a second time, but the Warden still just trying to keep targets in front of his teammates. Heiko's going to get locked down. Mini in some trouble. Already used his BKB. He's got to fight it out, but he can't actually do it. And they will lose Mini now all of a sudden. NoRunes. Can they rally? Yes, they can. They'll take down Fate. They'll take down the Warden. Now they've got to just focus on Paradise. Do they know which one is real? It doesn't seem like they do, but they're also just going to track down those supports and kill them off again. And now they're back onto Paradise. Pretty easy to figure out which one's real when there's only one. Paradise isn't going to go down without a fight. He's able to take down Hane. Now he's going to get backup. Solji jumping into the engagement. Guts is the one who's in some trouble. Rooted up. No mana. And he will fall. As Felt, I think, just used every last bit that they had, ET, but technically speaking, they win that fight.
Yeah, no, they get the leg up over their opponents, and again, very expensive. Have to use a lot of buybacks, but the cores don't. The cores don't bat an eye. The PL and the Ember Spirit, Ember just had to sit on the sidelines there for the most of that engagement and then just wait for his respawn, but Paradise stuck through it all, and simply on NoRunes, they just ran out of mana. And the two heroes that did get caught, both the Leshrac and the Shadow Fiend, just without their BKBs, they know how weak they are. It's where, because they lost Hane so early on in that fight, despite killing 3, they lose all of their lockdown. They don't have anybody that they can play for at that point. Even, I think, Surem getting a little bit greedy with his overgrowth. Otherwise, maybe they have a little bit more lockdown, but cannot really afford to be caught like that without any mana on any of these their heroes. It's just where the PL got that perfect fight, where everybody was just tapped, and now Paradise has a Scotty. So that timer, that time where you can actually kill and be happy with your engagement, is going to shorten and tighten up even further. And they're on the aggressive. Can no longer lose Fade, though. You lose your Death Prophet, and you will be forced into a pretty awful situation as Hannes, again, found the jump, Solji, but cannot stick onto him with the Shadow Fiend.
There's the Global Silence coming out. Hane gets taken down. Mini with the BKB active, trying to do some damage, but still needs to be wary of the damage coming out onto him. The Requiem, though, did catch onto Paradise. Where's the team? Where's the team? They've got to get reinforcements in, and they will be able to do so. It's Mini who goes down. Heiko falls now as well. And I'll tell you what, guess who it was who saved the day, ET? The #1 player here on Felt in terms of consistency, the Warden. Got the rebound in, got the sidekick to just give a little bit extra to Paradise to keep him alive, and I might have just won him the game at this point. Buybacks are not in a good spot. If you're NoRunes, 2 of their cores just straight up don't have it.
Yeah, and if they were going for tier 4s, maybe they could try it, but that's also where the Pango's going to be very annoying. They cannot kill the PL. They simply don't have enough damage, but they will walk out with the rest of the lineup. They're going for the tier 2, so that way they can actually focus for Megas. This is incredibly smart from Felt, because now there's something to play for and something to realize. Once you do have those respawns that they're just not going to go for, then suddenly they will be Megas. I don't think there's any way that Guts is going to be able to spread himself out far enough to make sure this hold happens. So there you go. Mega Creep's probably on board here. There's going to be a hell of a defense if they're able to hold it somehow, but I don't think it's in the cards. I think this is just going to be it. And then you will have a defense maybe coming in from Heiko, but...
Oh, Srem got caught. There's the Dispose to pull him in. They're going to root him in place as well. Fade gets the kill. Buyback out from Srem immediately, though. Heiko's TPing onto the front line. They're going to try and force this. But the Global kind of breaking this up a little bit. Srem and Hane both go down. Heiko's getting pushed back. He's going to get bashed to hell, so he's not even making it back to his fountain right now. But it looks like Srem is going to be able to save his teammate. Gets in there for the overgrowth, but they need kills. They are getting Solji pretty low, but he's able to jump away. And that is the problem with Mini's damage right now. He hits like a truck, ET, but he can't force someone to stay in front of him. He needs that backup from the rest of the squad.
Yeah, and he still can't deal with those multiple units. He can hit one person like a truck. He can't just cleave through everything. Maybe once he hits the 25, we could see something like that. And something to be said for NoRunes, really, these Megas aren't going to matter too much. They do just a little bit too much damage. Every core is pretty adept at killing these creeps, but it is going to be annoying to deal with. And I think that's where it also felt they can just slow the pace of this game down to a crawl if they want to, wait out their buybacks, make sure they don't just throw their lives away and then lose because everybody is just on that buyback timer. But still, incredible position to be in and take this game away from NoRunes.
Position that Felt have not been in for quite some time as well. I have to go back to that outlier series against the Cut to find a scenario where they were really in this kind of commanding position. But it's one thing to be in this position, ET. It's another to actually close it out. So we'll see if they have it in them. Because the NoRunes lineup, they're not going down without a fight, and it is going to be some tough resistance. But Felt, they're looking. If they could get Mini, they're going to give him with the root. That forces his BKB. Mini is going to start to fall back. Heiko, though, going in. Needs to be careful. Already lost about half of his HP. Now here comes Guts in with the Rolling Thunder. They're going to try to hit up somebody. There's the Overgrowth. Rolling Thunder will connect, but the Global Silence now comes through. They're trying to rally around, around their Ember, but they can't do it. Solji does get picked off, but look at Paradise getting onto the front line. BKB, though, starting to run out of time. They need to be unbelievably careful. There's the Requiem coming in. They're going to lock down that PL. Can they actually finish him off? Finger of Death is in. Oh, it's getting real rough in here, ET. Guts with the Ultra Kill. Fades trying desperately to get away. Can Guts catch up? Well, kind of. It's close, but didn't have anything else to work with other than the Swashbuckle. So it looks like Fade gets out of here, but that's a big misstep right inside of your opponent's base, and Guts really isn't giving up on this, is he? Does he find
He's not
Fade?
the Rampage anymore. Oh, it isn't able to connect with the Yules and no Basher, but yeah, the defense works. They're able to hold, and holding without using any of the buybacks on the cores either. There just never was a moment for the Warden to really force anything there, and of course, the Warden goes down, he buys back. Now that's a dieback he's going to have to play around whether or not he can actually put himself out there. And the Roche is up in 10 seconds here. Something that you do have to scout out. And again, the obnoxiousness of this Megas is going to be constantly in your face now. But they check it out. They retreat. What to have for us as well? It's an Agnum Scepter that, well, we'll have to see who they give it to. Could be a Leshrac item. Probably a Leshrac item if I had to say so. But we'll see. There's definitely some value in everybody else's as well, especially the Shadow Fiends. Once you get that 25 and you have even more Necromastery Souls to play around with, they see it. And if they can do this and then retreat into the base, they've effectively robbed Felt of another win condition they could have played around with just trying to punish the fact that the Glyph was down. But Now Glyph comes back up. There's no Aegis to get. Felt's next objective is just gone.
Aegis to Mini. Let's see. There's the Ags going into the Leshrek's hands. He takes the cheese for himself as well. So, well, Felt, it's rough out here. It's very rough. But listen, this is not out of the realm of possibility. They did blow their lead, sure. That, oh my god, that graph looks awkward as hell, but they're looking to make a play. They're going to jump in onto the Shadow Fiend immediately in the middle lane. They take out that first life instantly, and now the Global. Going to set up for the second. Mini, though, was able to activate the BKB. Now he goes for the Requiem, able to connect, turning around, looking for the damage. Soldier's going to fall. Paradise pops his BKB, but look at the damage. It's just too much physical damage that he's taking. He has to try and regroup with his teammates. For now, he's going to be able to. In the meantime, Solji did buy back, looking to rejoin this, but they're just so broken up. Look at Fade, trying to run down anyone he can. He is going to find a kill, but he needs backup, and it's just not here. Mini rejoining this engagement. He'll take down one. That's really all he's going to find right now, and hold on a second, because they got two split up now on the NoRunes side. Heiko now trying to fall back, but he is so damn slow in the river. He and Mini just trying to hold their ground desperately. They do get a stun off on a Paradise, but Paradise turning around, getting the damage. Heiko will fall. Root now onto the Shadow Fiend. They're dropping him down as well. Can he win with the raises? No, he can't. And his buyback's the only one left. I mean, he's back in ET, but how can he do this? It's a 1v4 against Megas as well. Felt may have just unthrown the game.
No, and I think they've done it. And Guts, he just simply doesn't have it. If he was alive, he could probably hold it with his Shadow Fiend, but I just don't think there's enough time now. And even though you're trying to be annoying Mini, it's just a matter of time before they decide to kill you or their base, and they know it's time.
Felt have done it. They get the win. I mean, they very nearly blew it too, so let's, let's not give them too much credit. It wasn't the cleanest game in the world, but at this point, ET, they needed a point desperately, and they got it.
No, and now, well, depending on the results of 5-Man Midas's series before the final series of Felt versus 5-Man Midas, Felt effectively can get 2-0'd by 5-Man Midas and still knock them out of the tournament by not having enough points. So this is just the slightest of slight buffers, but yeah, Felt get a victory, and I think a victory that also was large in part due to NoRunes squandering their chances. I think out of the lanes, out of what they had in those first 10 minutes, looked perfect. It looked like what they could steer into a very easy win for them, but from the hero plays, from mainly Solji and the Warden, just not only fixing the Ember Spirit's lanes, but then out-rotating your opponents, getting a whole bunch of kills, making sure you were second net worth only to the SF at 15 minutes into the game. I mean, it's just perfect stuff. And then kind of a little bit of a throw fest, some ups and downs for both sides, but through it all, Felt just make it happen. They look better. They get the counter pick with the PO. It just seemingly all works out. And NoRunes, even though, again, felt so confident coming into this game and coming up to this moment, just weren't able to keep it together. And then I think through those misplays gave Felt way too many opportunities. But yeah, a very important win for Felt.
Yeah, a game that they realistically just kind of had to have, and they do manage to get it. Meanwhile, it's a bit of an interesting one in hindsight, ET. This Hane Lion, for the longest time in this game, it was doing exactly what they wanted. He was getting in, right? Blink, Hex, stun, set up multiple kills onto the likes of Solji and Fade, and then, well, BKBs start to come into play. Hane stops being the first one into those fights as well several times, and at the end of the day, I think the biggest problem is just it's still a Lion who built no survivability, so he was just instantly dead.
Yeah, no, all it takes is one misplay, and then you die, you get picked off, you're unable to make a team fight happen. And what an important piece to take out, because he's your stun, he's your initiator, he's the one that gets everything going. And I still think Guts maybe not buying a Blink Dagger till 37 minutes into the game is a mistake.
Yeah.
But I am not 10k MMR, so, who cares? But no, that's definitely a sour loss for NoRunes. And I think not mathematically, but definitely makes their leap up into that upper bracket just a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we said at the start of this series that they need at least 1 point out of each of their series moving forward. They did get the 1 point here, but if ever there was an opportunity on paper where they probably should have gotten 2, this would have been it. But C'est la vie. That's the way it goes, right? You at least get the 1 point, so they will carry on. And we are going to be moving here, ET, into our final matchup of the day. We are going to be seeing another clash between North and South America. This time it's going to be Team Dogchamp versus Ravens. So a pair of squads who have had a few days off. I think it's been
Mhm.
like 2 days for Dogchamp, 3 days for Ravens. So they've been sort of sitting back and waiting. But we are going to put them back under that spotlight. So we'll be moving into that one in just a little bit. Before we do, though, it is time to let you know once again about the giveaway for Pro Series 12. We are giving away a HyperX Armada 25 FHD monitor, as well as a t-shirt and hoodie, some branded Beyond the Summit merchandise there. So if you're interested in taking a shot at winning those, you can go to the address at the top of your screen right now, bts.gg/Pro Series giveaway. Enter for your chance to win. We're going to draw a winner at the end of Pro Series. So go to the address, enter for free, take your shot at a monitor and some BTS merch. So hope you take advantage of that. Once again, that's bts.gg/Pro Series giveaway. So, well, quick and easy. Going to be moving on here. Final series of the day. Dogchamp versus Ravens coming your way just about 10 minutes now. So stick around, and we'll be back with that Game 1 draft.